Welcome to NTN Nightly. I am Janelle Norvell. This edition's top stories. A new project designed to enhance digital skills in the education sector launches Friday. Productivity challenges in the banana sector to be addressed with the assistance of Taiwan. And Caribbean voices at the Global COVID-19 Summit. The Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training will on Friday, September 24, 2021, launch a 2-year initiative referred to as the Saint Lucia Connected Activity. The project is funded through a US $1 million grant from the United States Agency for International Development USAID. The project is a timely response to the need for building the resilience and capacity of St. Lucia's education system to address the challenges of online learning posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and prepare the youth to take advantage of the opportunities created by a new digital economy that is driven by technological advancements. In collaboration with World Education, Inc., a U.S. non-governmental organization, Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Tuskegee University, and other partners, the ministry will embark on a program of educator professional development where teachers will enhance their digital skills through training in developing online content to strengthen teaching and learning in a virtual setting. Teachers will also be reoriented in their methods of teaching instruction through the adoption and infusion of positive youth development approaches that place emphasis on teaching critical life skills. The project, which will be launched virtually, will feature remarks from Her Excellency Linda Tagliatella, U.S. Ambassador to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean and the OECS, and the Honorable Sean Edward, Minister for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training. Meanwhile, the special education sector is benefiting from an array of assistive devices and materials which will facilitate and enhance the instructional process and support systems for special learners on the island. Chris Satney has more in this report.
Educational services to the population of special school learners require alternative resources and inputs to effect adequate learning and learner development, as the services required are significantly different from that of the general student population. Differences exist in the functional abilities of students, their impairment status, and the curriculum to be accessed. The assistive devices handed over at a ceremony held Monday, according to Education Officer for Special Education Dale Sergis, will assist special education centers on the island in addressing issues including student assessment for special education needs, student mobility, hearing impairment, speech impairments, disorders along the autism spectrum, accessibility to learning resources, rehabilitation of impaired functions, and the ability to better control and interact with their human and physical environment.
So they need stimulation, they need therapy, they need sensory regulation. These are not issues that can be resolved by a teacher standing in front of a classroom or by a laptop and a screen. So it is very important for us that we have these devices to support the targeted needs of these children.
The assistive devices were supplied by the Education Quality Improvement Project, EQUIP, of the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training with support from the Caribbean Development Bank. Project coordinator of EQUIP, Mary Grace O'Gee, says the idea to procure the assistive devices came from a fact-finding mission undertaken in 2019 at 2 special ed centers in Trinidad and Tobago by special education personnel to witness firsthand the practices that made those 2 facilities successful at providing care to their TNT clientele with special needs.
The collective objective was to observe and to assess facilities, programs, services, and to select best practices that could be assimilated into or adapted to the St. Lucian context. In the interest of developing an education sector that is more inclusive of special needs education, and that is student-focused.
The special education sector has applauded the efforts of the equipped team in not just providing the assistive devices, but to develop a pilot project that will test the use of the devices at 2 local institutions, which provide support to children with special needs.
It's wonderful to give everyone the same thing, but that does not necessarily scratch where it itches. And so what Equip is doing is really putting the fingernails where the itches are and giving us that satisfying scratch, ensuring that our children with special needs have their unique and targeted needs addressed.
Chief Education Officer Cyrus Sipal says government is steadfastly committed to the transformation of St. Lucia's education sector so that it is more inclusive and responsive to the needs of students, teachers, parents, and the wider society.
We at Education, we will continue to support the holistic development of every child. And when I say every child, I mean those who need the attention and those probably who are already excelling and they just need now that extra support that they will continue to excel. There is a philosophy that I subscribe to very much. If the child does not learn the way that you are teaching him or her, teach him or her the way that he or she will learn. And this is what we are seeing here.
The pilot phase of the project will be undertaken at 2 special needs centers, including the Lady Gordon Opportunity Center and the Sufres Special Ed Center. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training, I am Chris Satney reporting.
Saint Lucia's private sector and organizations continue to partner with government for the betterment of the society. Irie Kids Inc., a local children's charity in collaboration with Rise Saint Lucia Inc., recently made a donation of 100 pulse oximeters to the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs has received a generous donation of 100 pulse oximeters from local children's charity Irie Kids Inc. in collaboration with Rise St. Lucia Inc. Irie Kids Inc. is a local charity which aims to improve the lives of children throughout the length and breadth of the island. Kim William is an executive member of Irie Kids Inc.
On behalf of our founder Lisa and Jarvis and all the executive board members, we would like to present to the government and people of St. Lucia 100 oximeters. An oximeter is a device used to measure your oxygen level. I hope this will go a long way in helping us fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
Rise St. Lucia Inc.'s head of the board of directors, Dr. Vinesh Cherry, expressed hope for the longevity of the collaboration in the fight against COVID-19. He expressed that the public too can play its part in this fight by getting vaccinated and following the protocols.
We're hoping that this collaboration between the Ministry of Health, Irie Kids and Rise St. Lucia is a continued one, as we all are St. Lucians hoping and seeking to eradicate COVID-19 from our society, our country and the world. I just want to take this time to caution every St. Lucian. If you are not vaccinated, get vaccinated. I'm not here to sell you on the vaccine will provide immunity. What I can tell you is, if you are vaccinated, the likelihood of you catching COVID and getting extremely sick and getting hospitalized and being a burden on our health system is extremely, extremely low. And I'm not just talking from someone who's just saying to do it. I'm vaccinated myself, not because I have all the answers or think that I have immunity. In fact, I caution every person who is fully vaccinated to follow the protocols even further.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George expressed gratitude for the donation, adding that it will aid greatly in the fight against COVID-19 and will be put into immediate use.
At this point, as we manage the 4th wave, this is the highest number of persons that we have had requiring home care or home isolation. So these pulse oximeters will be used so that they can assist us in self-monitoring, because as we know, COVID-19 causes respiratory signs and symptoms, and one of the early signs is that we know the oxygen saturation starts to go down. So this will be an extremely valuable tool to support our home monitoring program. We have a team of physicians and nurses monitoring our patients within the community. So this will assist us in getting a very early alert that someone may not be doing as well. We are almost positive that they'll be used within the week, and we will use them in a sustainable way so that when our patients recover, we can disinfect them and use them for other patients. The Ministry of Health, as everybody knows, we have been managing COVID for the last 18 months, and it is extremely important, those collaborations. We cannot do it alone. We need the support and the collaboration of different groups as we manage this pandemic together. So I really hope that this is just the start of a sustainable collaboration. We really appreciate this donation.
Dr. Sharon Belmar Judge, citing the data, also encouraged members of the public to get vaccinated.
We are seeing in our data so far, and we just calculated the latest numbers, 98%, we only have 2% of persons who have been fully vaccinated who have passed away with COVID-related symptoms, but the 2% had other serious underlying conditions. So the majority of our patients that we see at the respiratory hospital are unvaccinated. Those who pass away, the majority, that is 98%, are unvaccinated. So we want to continue appealing to the public to keep themselves, their families safe. And just as Dr. Sherry very, very well said, we have to continue monitoring the protocols and to be responsible at this time. We are seeing a reduction in the rate of transmission, which is hopeful, but we cannot get complacent as yet. We have to bring the active cases a lot lower. We are seeing the increases in the recoveries, but we cannot get complacent until we let us get to a safe level before we make any changes.
The Chief Medical Officer thanks the public for its cooperation. From the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville. The Taiwanese technical mission through the Banana Productivity Improvement Project continues to assist banana farmers as they continue to battle several challenges impeding their productivity.
The Banana Productivity Improvement Project, BPIP, has been working to increase farmer productivity and revitalize the banana industry in Saint Lucia with a view of restoring farmer confidence. With domestic banana production hampered by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been exacerbated by recent disasters such as Hurricane Irma, Taiwan's technical mission continues to show their support with their most recent check donation to the Banana Productivity Improvement Project. Ambassador of Taiwan to Saint Lucia, His Excellency Peter Cheyenne Chen, says Taiwan will continue to provide assistance to Saint Lucia's agriculture industry as they work to strengthen their bilateral relationship.
We continue to support the Banana Productivity Improving Project, and Taiwan is committed to providing reliable assistance and incorporating new and innovation technologies to Saint Lucia's agricultural industry. I have the privilege to accompany Minister Prosper to visit the Taiwan Technical Mission headquarters right after Minister assumed his post and learn about his vision of future agricultural development in Saint Lucia. I believe through our agricultural cooperation, Taiwan and Saint Lucia will be able to join hands to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2.3 to increase agricultural productions and the income of food producers.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Rural Development and Food Security, Honorable Alfred Prosper, expressed gratitude on behalf of the people of St. Lucia to the government of Taiwan for the significant contribution they have made to the agricultural sector and the country's overall economic growth. Minister Prosper noted that a sum of $3.2 million has been budgeted for the fiscal year 2021-2022, with 500,000 EC dollars coming from the BPIP revolving fund.
With the severe and almost complete destruction of our banana field, this support will go towards rehabilitation of fields, improving drainage, improving farm irrigation, farmer training and certification, pest and disease control, and lessening the dependence on agrochemicals. However, beyond these traditional project activities and productivity enhancement, the government will now place strategic emphasis on the marketing of bananas. While we will continue to strengthen relationships with traditional markets along with partners like Export Saint Lucia, we will also seek our new partners and markets. This strategy is to eliminate over-reliance on one market and build resilience in the industry.
Although the Banana Productivity Improvement Project is set to continue within the ministry until March 2022, Minister Prosper reaffirms that the Saint Lucian government, in collaboration with the Taiwanese government, will continue to assist in improving Saint Lucia's food security and the well-being of Saint Lucian farmers. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Caribbean voices are being heard at the Global COVID-19 Summit convened by U.S. President Joe Biden. Regional leaders have raised concerns about the impact of COVID-19 on their economies and have committed to meeting global vaccination targets. The summit is being held under the theme Ending the Pandemic and Building Back Better on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly High-Level Week. Here's Homer DeMark.
The virtual gathering saw participation and support for summit targets from heads of government from the Caribbean and countries across the globe. President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, addressed the impact of COVID-19 on developing countries.
Developing countries have suffered a contraction of growth, massive jobs losses, closure of many small businesses, and the imperiling of key sectors, such as tourism. Presently, disruption to global supply chain and logistics are increasing import costs and consequently the cost of living. As such, while I endorse the optimism of this summit, I am mindful that global economic recovery will be uneven and that unless the inequalities in the global economy are addressed and the problems of developing states are particularized in this process, the legacy of the pandemic will frustrate developing countries' recovery and the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Honorable Keith Rowley utilized the global platform to highlight the importance of equitable access to vaccines in ending the COVID-19 pandemic.
With the emergence in late 2019 of this pathogen, we have seen disruption of every facet of global life, and it is likely to be with us for some time, according to the most optimistic predictions. These facts serve to underscore the importance of working together with like-minded governments and organizations as we advance efforts to vaccinate our populations, save lives, and rebuild more resilient economies and societies. I join with you all today in committing Trinidad and Tobago to this global vaccination effort.
And as Barbados continues to manage increasing cases of COVID-19 with some 881 individuals currently in isolation, Prime Minister Honorable Mia Mottley in her address underscored the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, although devastating, will lead to increased strengthening and capacity of Caribbean health systems.
Our efforts to combat COVID-19 have already started to lay the foundation for an improved health system and for the return to economic growth that is so essential. Tourism and travel-dependent economies in last year, 2020, as a result of the pandemic, all scored double-digit declines in our GDP. Two examples of the improvements to which I spoke just now will be in our clinical and operational domains. As a result of our experience with COVID, we are better positioned to detect, analyze, and respond to new threats due to our investments in laboratory capacity and indeed in the strengthening of our epidemiological services.
The summit was held on the margins of the United Nations General Assembly High-Level Week on 22 September 2021. From the Government Information Service, Homer DeMark reporting.
This is NTN Nightly. Primus Hutchinson is up next. Stay with us.
Suicidal thoughts, like other mental health challenges, can affect anyone. It can be you, your colleague, family member, or neighbor. Everyone has a role to play in preventing suicide. Know the warning signs. If you or someone you know is in crisis or emotional distress, call the suicide hotline at 203. Remember, help is available. This is a message from the Employee Assistance Program, Department of the Public Service. Contact us at 468-2269 or 468-2260.
Welcome back. We join Primus Hutchinson for the NTN Nouvelle au Creole.
Merci autant, Janelle. Monsieur, Mesdames, département qui nous responsabilité pour information en gouvernement Saint Lucia. Ça c'est GIS, ASMP, Télévision Nationale pays NTN, qui a présenté une nouvelle en créole, présenté Primus Hutchinson. Ministre là qui nous responsabilité pour service public et qui a fait travail à Saint Lucia, honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, déclaré qu'il a cherché façon pour le travail et aussi union, ça veut dire les syndicats en pays Saint Lucia. Mais support et reconnaissance. Dr. Poyot aussi qui a regretté et très concerné si quantité de travail qui pas ni représentation et union en Saint Lucia. Ministre des Affaires travail à Saint Lucia, j'ai remarqué que il y a ces jours ça là pour venir, il est nécessaire pour approcher la situation pour aider planter bonne science en ces travail pays là pour faire comprendre que seule salvation c'est représentatif yon union. Ministre Poyot fait comprendre qu'on lit entrer en affaires politiques pays là à présent, ça a placé ces unions à dans une bonne position concernant règles et direction qui pays a pris en faveur. Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot dit qu'il a qu'on la voie des secours pour les travailleurs qui en service gouvernement. Le ministre des Affaires travailleurs a commencé cette discussion et puis les représentatifs de diverses unions en pays là. Association des travailleurs en pays là, parmi ces organisations qui le ministre a assez depuis commencé vendredi le 10 septembre 2021. C'était Association Servants Civils et aussi National Workers Union. Et qui a continué ces discussions là en ces semaines pour venir. Le ministre a aussi été assis et puis les représentatifs du département des affaires travailleurs. Dr. Poyot dit qu'il voulait le département des affaires travailleurs plus engagé en affaires ces ministères et l'affaire ministère et pour raison ça là, j'ai décidé de placer affaires travailleurs et toutes ces affaires concernant les situations fortes maintenant pays à bas service public là. Comme service public là a adressé négociation employement les travailleurs à secteur public, alors ça a porté l'occasion pour ça corriger pièces mal comprendre et différence qui a existé en ces années qui passées. Le ministre des Affaires et Services publics là, avec les travailleurs, c'était président association union, les instituteurs et bien les teachers à cette liste en temps qui passé. En parlant de ça, les représentatifs association services publics cette liste en discussion et puis le ministre qui a la responsabilité pour service public PIA, honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, jeudi le 16 septembre 2021, touché plusieurs sujets et que l'autre ça qui était concerné, ça qui était concerné. Parmi ces sujets qui ont discuté, c'est qui le département service public a joué en total en affaires service public PIA. Ménagement maladie corona, situation côté position les travailleurs encore trouvé haussé pour un titre à présent, en fait l'année en pause. Aussi situation côté travailleurs qui a trouvé contrat qui très coûte pour travail et que l'autre situation concernant agrément en opération service public là. Ces discussions ont été faites franchement et le ministre là encore promet pour chain commitment pour supporter ces unions pays et pour faire assurer que les travailleurs trouvent une voix en ces décisions qui a fait concernant le travail. Les représentatifs associations servantes civiles étaient très prêts pour trouver l'occasion là pour engager le ministre là nouveau ça là et aussi les officiers du département service public et qui a une relation qui est très positive en l'année pour venir. Organisation qui est responsable pour le management affaires des désastres, ça c'est NIMO, très concerné qui a des autorisations qui ont bail pour faire possible pour cet individu voyager durant le curfew, en particulier, qui sont engagés très fort en service santé et assistance secours, pour ça conduit travail plus effectivement pas qu'à servir ces autorisations ça là en façon qui est supposé faire. Alors pour raison ça là nous j'ai implémenté règle qui bien sérieux concernant manière yo kay bay c'est pas ça là et bien c'est ticket de autorisation. Selon directeur Nimo madame Doreen Gustave nous j'ai reçu un rapport que les individus qui ne se passent là et bien c'est ticket de autorisation qu'a abusé service ça là. Ça veut dire qu'il y a un service qui passe là. Pour l'autre occasion, qui ça est là pour. Pour raison ça là, nous avons fait qui ni ces autorisations ça là, savent qui échanger, qui pour servir ces autorisations ça là. Pour l'autre raison, qui ça est là pour, car représenter une offense de loi curfew pays cette ici, et que ça peut l'occasionner pour y perdre ça là. Parce que nous avons évalué point autorisation ça là. En amont, le directeur nous a dit que police péage a trouvé autorisation pour qui les individus qui n'y se pas ça là pour suivre la façon qui au bayo pour faire et que si pas ça c'est police là autorisation là pour saisir ces passes là à part de ça c'est police là doit pour prendre n'importe l'autre action qui est nécessaire contre n'importe individu qui va suivre et bien obéir ces conditions qui se passe là pour et bien en conduite exercice en bas situation ça là. Nous avons crié à cette corporation, tout le monde, qu'on pays a continué pour faire bataille contre la maladie corona dans un temps qui est tellement difficile en l'histoire cette ici. C'est comme ça notre nouvelle là. Je vous remercie autant pour regarder. Je vous remercie une invitation. Pour je ne puis encore c'était conserver la vie dans les présenter l'autre nouvelle en croyant la présence. Je vous présenter au Chanel.
Merci Apple Primus. We now take a look at the weather.
Forecast for Saint Lucia, valid for the next 24 hours. The weather is fair to partly cloudy with a few brief showers. There is a chance of thunderstorms. Seas, slight to moderate with waves 3 to 5 feet or 0.9 to 1.5 meters. In the tropical outlook, at 11 a.m. today, the center of Tropical Storm Sam was located near latitude 10.9 north, longitude 38.1 west. Sam is moving toward the west near 16 miles per hour or 26 kilometers per hour, and this motion is expected to continue over the next few days. Maximum sustained winds are near 15 miles per hour or 85 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Further strengthening is forecasted over the next few days, and Sam is expected to become a hurricane by tomorrow and a major hurricane by the weekend. Interests in the Leeward and Northern Windward Islands are advised to continue to monitor the progress of this system.
That brings us to the end of NTN Nightly. Join us next time at 7 p.m. with a repeat at 7 a.m. You can also catch up with us anytime on the St. Lucia Government Facebook page or YouTube channel. I am Janelle Norville.